I'm Mandy, living with my husband, Ben. He always returned home late, which made me suspect he was cheating. However, he insisted that he wasn't. I wanted to believe him, but his behavior seemed suspicious. It was odd how he took his phone outside whenever he got a call. If there was nothing to hide, he could just talk on the phone inside the house. I thought it must be from a woman. Yet, he kept denying any affair. But one day, I found decisive evidence. He had lipstick on his shirt. I have sensitive lips, so I never wear lipstick, only lightly tinted lip balm at most. So, finding bright red lipstick was strange. It must have been from some woman. Perhaps from doing something intimate or leaning on each other. I couldn't stand it anymore. So, I confronted Ben. And then, after all his denials, he easily admitted it.
Yeah.
That's right. I've been having an affair. What's that, you're admitting it now? Because I found someone better than a plain Jane like you. Surprise. It's your sister, Jenny. What? Really, you look so unfortunate, not resembling Jenny at all. That's why you're a turn-off. Jenny is so beautiful, after all. I was more shocked about him cheating with my sister than being insulted. Why my sister of all people? Indeed, my sister is very beautiful, slender, and seems sophisticated. But she has the worst character. She always seemed pleased with herself after stealing friends' boyfriends. So, I hated my sister. I thought Ben must have been deceived by her, but they're both at fault. I wondered if mocking me brought them joy. I see. Then let's get a divorce. That's what I want. If I can be with Jenny, I'll even pay compensation. Paying compensation is a given. Why are you acting so high and mighty? Because I'm gracing you with my money. He was arrogantly proud. I couldn't understand why a cheater could be so arrogant. I did nothing wrong, so there's no reason for him to talk down to me. But he showed no remorse. He didn't seem guilty or apologetic at all. I thought he should show at least a little regret. And so, we got divorced. Ben is now my ex-husband. After the divorce, I moved back to my parents' house. It was embarrassing to return home, but it wasn't my fault. So, my parents welcomed me without saying anything. Feeling bad for relying on my kind parents, I was thinking of moving out eventually. But it was September, and I had difficulty finding a good apartment. Most reasonable properties were filled up. Probably because new employees and university students were signing leases. Given my situation, staying at my parents' house seemed better for now. So, I decided not to rush into choosing a bad property. I work for a multinational company, so I have a good income, but I'm just an ordinary person. However, my late grandfather and father were wealthy, so our house is quite large. My father is very rich, but I don't remember being spoiled. I was always taught the value of money and got scolded for wasting things. I learned from a young age that real wealthy people value money and possessions. So, the house is large, but quite old. It can't be helped because it was built by my grandfather, if I am not mistaken. He also valued things, so he didn't rebuild the mansion just because he had the money. I was able to relax in my spacious family home after a long time. Even if it's a bit run down, home is still comforting. Staying with an ex-husband like that would only cause stress. The day after I separated from Ben, he unexpectedly showed up at my parents' house. And he brought my sister, Jenny, with him. Jenny had been living alone since college. So I wondered if these two were living in the same apartment or somewhere. Well, that didn't really matter. What I was curious about was why they came to our house. I was about to say something when Ben spoke first. We've decided to live in your family home. You're in the way, so get out. Excuse me? You want me to leave?
Yeah.
I want you to leave. Jenny and I are going to live in this house. Huh. That's right. This house is for me and Ben to live in. Can a dumb and ugly person like you please leave? I see. Now you have nowhere to go. Sleep on the streets. That suits you, Mandy. Now, get out. Right now. Didn't you hear? From Dad and Mom. What? This house is going to be demolished soon. What? What do you mean? They decided to demolish it because they are moving out. The repair costs are high, you know? It's quite old. So they thought it might be better to demolish it and sell the land. What? I didn't know that. If I had known, I wouldn't have moved out of the apartment. How could they do such a thing? What? We've already moved out of the apartment. Now we're staying in a business hotel as a temporary place. I was dumbfounded. I was surprised to hear that Ben and my sister planned to live in our old family home and had already moved out of their apartment. Not understanding why they wanted to live in such an old house, I asked them, "Hey, why did you want to live in such an old house? And Ben, you're not even becoming a son-in-law, are you? We thought about remodeling this house. It's old but large, and we thought it would look pretty nice once remodeled." I see. So, that was the plan. That's why I even sold my car to raise the funds. Yes, I sold my car too. Thinking we would live in a beautiful remodeled home with him. I thought they were foolish. My parents hadn't even given them permission to live here. Yet they planned to remodel and live here on their own. Selling their cars for this was ridiculous. This area is quite rural, so life without a car is inconvenient. They must be struggling without one. When I asked how they got here today, they said they came by taxi. I just thought it was a waste of taxi fare. After all, they couldn't possibly live here. You guys are really foolish, huh? Selling the car. Ben, how do you plan to commute now? Well, I'm taking the train every day now. I wake up early and commute from the nearest station. Huh. I got fired from my job, so I'm planning to be a full-time housewife. What? What's that about? They said I was being intimidating towards a female colleague, bullying her. Are you out of your mind? That's crazy. Shut up. It's none of your business. Maybe, but you don't seem to be reflecting on it. I always thought my sister had a twisted personality. At work, she was jealous of a younger and prettier girl. This young new employee was very capable and loved by everyone, which displeased her. She used to think she was the prettiest, but then someone younger, cuter, smarter came along. It was scary to think that my sister, at the age of 35, was openly jealous of someone in their early 20s. This must be what they call a delusional older woman. I'm 30 myself but vowed not to become like her. So, you should leave now. Goodbye. Hey. Wait. Wait a minute. After I closed the door on them, they kept making noise outside for a while but eventually left. Ben's parents are deceased, and he has no family home to rely on. I wondered what they would do next. Later, my parents demolished our family home as I was moving out. They decided to move abroad and live leisurely. I gave my new address only to my parents. One day, Ben called me via WhatsApp with a trembling voice. Hello. I have a favor to ask.
Yeah.
What? I got caught cheating, and it's a big mess. Help me. Huh? I don't know what Jenny will do to me. I don't want to go back to the hotel. Hey, where's your house? Let me stay with you from now. I thought to myself, what is he talking about? I couldn't comprehend the stupidity, nor did I want to. After ditching me to cheat with my sister, he was cheating again without learning his lesson. He must be seriously messed up. It seemed he got into a huge mess after Jenny found out. He was yelled at a lot. Then he fled the hotel, afraid of what Jenny might do. So, he wanted me to hide him. I felt pathetic for having married such a messed up person. So, I thought I'd punish him. Okay, I'll give you my address now. Come here, and I'll give you the taxi fare later. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. It's at 893 First Street, XX Town, XX City. Got it. And so, the foolish Ben immediately headed there. But he must have regretted it upon arrival. Because the address I gave him was where a mafia office was located. Being as foolish as he is, he rang the doorbell. You'd think he'd realize I didn't live there just by looking at the nameplate. He was fiercely glared at by some underlings. You. How dare you trick me? Oh, you found out? This isn't a laughing matter. I went through a terrifying experience. What are you going to do about it? Well, I thought a fool, calling his ex-wife, asking for a place to stay. Deserved a bit of punishment. You should be thankful that's all that happened to you. Ugh. This is the worst. What am I supposed to do now? He was talking and crying. What was he supposed to do? I thought he should just deal with it on his own. He should apologize to Jenny or break up. Jenny becomes very scary when she's angry, and he probably couldn't return to the hotel. So, he might end up homeless. He mentioned selling his car, but it seemed that money vanished in no time. What with the accommodation fee and food expenses? Their cars were both old models of compact cars. So, selling them wouldn't have brought in much money anyway. This is what happened when you made unplanned schemes to take over a house. Ridiculous, I thought. By the way, it seems you're still staying at the hotel. Why not rent an apartment or a condo? That's because I've been milked dry and have no money left. What? I was buying her bags and makeup after dating. Then my account balance was basically nothing. What? As if she thinks of you as anything more than a cash cow. You're insane. The reason they couldn't afford an apartment was his fault. He spent so much money on his affair partner that his bank account dwindled to a single digit. How foolish to spend that much. When married to me, his savings were about $50,000. Even after subtracting the compensation for me, there should have been plenty left. He must have spent it all on his partner. Perhaps it wasn't just about the money since they were involved in an affair. But from the woman's perspective, he was probably just a good source of gifts. This affair partner turned out to be Jenny's best friend. No wonder she got so furious. Talking to him gave me a headache, so I hung up the call. After that, I blocked and deleted his contact. I regretted not doing it sooner, but I was satisfied to have given him a punishment. Later, Jenny called me via WhatsApp. It seemed they talked it over but ended up deciding to separate. They hadn't registered their marriage, so it wasn't a divorce, just a breakup. She was crying, saying her dream of becoming a housewife was shattered. She had nowhere to live, no money, and asked for my help. Help me, I have nowhere to go. I can't even turn to our parents because I don't know where they are. I don't even have money for a plane ticket. That makes sense. After all, they were mad about what you did. That's why they didn't give you the address. And plane tickets are really expensive, so you can't afford them now, can you? Hey, why don't we live together as sisters then? That would be fine, right?
Oh.
Sorry, but that's impossible. Why? Actually, I'm overseas now. What?
Yeah.
I became an expatriate. So, I'm abroad now. What? Which country? Tell me. Even if I told you, you couldn't come since you have no money. What would you do with that information? I'd have you send me money. For the ticket and everything. Mandy, huh? Why would I send money? What are you talking about? She was on the verge of a breakdown upon hearing that I had also gone abroad. Actually, my overseas assignment had been decided a while ago, right after I separated from Ben. I wasn't required to go abroad immediately. So I lived at my parents' house for a while, going to the company for handovers and teaching tasks to my juniors. After I left the US, my parents demolished our house and then moved abroad. I live in a country with little time difference from the US. Which is why we can have this WhatsApp call. I haven't told her which country I'm living in or where our parents are. So, it's unlikely we'll ever meet again. Even if I return to the US temporarily, I have no intention of giving her my whereabouts. My parents are dismayed by her actions, so they probably won't see her again either. That's so cruel, everyone's bullying me like this. Now, I might become homeless. I have no money left from selling the car, and I have to leave the business hotel by tomorrow. Well, if that's the case, it can't be helped. With the money you have left, why not buy a tent and sleep somewhere outside? Try doing solo camping, it's trending now. What? Are you kidding me? That's just being homeless. Are you mocking me? No, I didn't mean it like that. But there's no other option, right? Do you have anywhere else to stay? Well, then, you might as well go to an outdoor equipment store now.
Bye.
After that, I blocked and deleted her WhatsApp too. Whether she truly would become homeless or not, I couldn't care less. She can fend for herself. I later heard about my ex-husband, Ben. Guess what? According to a mutual friend, he caused problems at work and was finally fired. Now, with completely no money and no place to live, he's been begging everyone. He's been pestering friends for money at every turn, which made them hate him. Such a pathetic guy. He's not suited for marriage at all. I don't know if I'll ever remarry. But if there's a next time, I definitely don't want a man like that. Hence, it's crucial to be discerning in relationships. Someone might act nice at first, but could change drastically later. In a way, it was a learning experience. I plan to focus on my career abroad and live for myself from now on.